All right, let's try example 2 here. Find the sum of the first 11 terms in the following geometric series. So they're telling us it's geometric. Okay. So let's write down, we know n is 11. Okay, so that's nice. And, okay, I'm seeing how much space I have here. So I know n is 11, and I know my first term is 32. And my r, my ratio. So my ratio is the second term, so negative 16, divided by the first, which is 32, and that's negative a half. Okay. So now I can find the sum. The sum is equal to the first term, 1 times 1 minus r to the n, all over 1 minus r. So let's find S11. So the first term is 32. 1 minus, and this is a negative, so I'm going to put it in brackets again, to the power of n, which is 11, all over 1 minus negative a half. Okay, so this is going to be some fancy calculator work here. So on the bottom, 1 minus minus, that's a plus. So 1 plus a half. So if you have 1 and then a half, you have 1 and a half. That's 3 over 2, or 1.5. And in here, I don't know what this is. So I'm going to put this in my calculator. So 1 minus, and then I have to go negative a half. Now what's interesting here, the negative a half, this 11 goes in, so a half to the 11, which who knows what that is. And then 11 goes in there for the negatives. There's 11 negatives, meaning our answer should be negative. So negative 1 over 2 to the power of 11. And it's really, really, really small. So what I'm going to do for this is do the whole top. Okay? So let's erase this. Let's do the whole top in the calculator. 32 times 1 minus bracket negative 1 over 2 to the power of 11. And then I have to close the bracket. So you can pause it to see here everything, and that's what I get. 32.015625. 015625. Oops, wrong one. 32.015625. And I want to divide that answer by 1.5 or 3 over 2. Now, if I'm going to go 3 over 2, I need to put it in brackets. So 3 over 2. And I get 21.34375. 21.34375. And so that is what the sum of my 11 terms will be. Sorry, that's what my sum will be. So, yeah, I don't know what to think of this other than this is really calculator heavy. I had to put all of this into my calculator. I mean, you can kind of maybe work backwards. You can go 1 minus, like if I do this over again, 1 minus, so there's the 1 minus, and then you have to put brackets, negative 0.5 instead of 1 over 2 to the power of 11. So you can figure out what that is, and then times that by 32, and then you can get the 32.015625, and then divide that by 1.5, and you can get 21.34375. So it is some fancy calculator work here, and that's really the only thing that we can do when we choose to sum up a huge number with such a small ratio like this. Okay, so let's try the next one. B. All right, B here. Let's start out. T1 is our first term. It's negative 400. And our R, our common ratio. Remember, that's division. So it's negative 300 divided by negative 400, which is 3 over 4, or 0.75. And our N here, the number of terms it wants us to sum up, is 11. So we can find the sum, Sn equals T1, 1 minus r to the n, all over 1 minus r. And we are finding the sum of the 11 terms, so T1, which is negative 400, 1 minus r, which is 0.75. I don't need to put it in brackets because it's not negative, to the power of 11. And divided by 1 minus 0.75. So I'm doing 0.75 right now just because I'm going to be putting this in a calculator, but you could just write 3 over 4. So negative 400, well, I might want to do all of that in a calculator. I know the bottom, 1 minus 3/4 is 1/4, or 0.25, but we need to take a look here. So I'd put it all in one line if I was using a calculator like this. So negative 400 times 1 minus 0.75 to the power of 11. Remember, I didn't need brackets around the 0.75 because it wasn't negative. So negative 383. So I'm going to write that down here, negative 383.1059456. And then I can take that number and I can divide it by 0.25. And I get negative 1532, so I'm just going to write that down. So there you have it. So my sum of the first 11 terms is negative 1,532.423782. That is the sum of the first 11 terms. That's probably rounded. I don't know how accurate that is. But, okay, so there you have it. There's those two. Apparently I can't do that. Oh, and it just goes over here. Okay, so we're going to look at 2 more questions here. And now we want to find the number of terms. So what we're trying to find is n. How many terms is this thing? So we know T1. We know T1 is 2. And our r is 4, the second term, divided by the first term, which is 2. So 4 over 2, which is 2. And we do know Sn. It does tell us that. That's 65534. So if I use the formula, Sn equals T1, 1 minus r to the n, all over 1 minus r. I can fill this in and I can solve for the missing or the unknown term. So 65534 equals T1, which is 2, 1 minus r, which is 2 to the n, and then all over 1 minus r. Okay, so 65534 equals 2, 1 minus 2 to the n, all over negative 1. Now, I can times this by negative 1, and at the same time, because that will cancel with this, also divide by the 2, because that will cancel with that. So really I'm timesing by a negative 1/2. So multiply by the negative 1, and then divide by the 2. So I'm going to have here equals 1 minus 2 to the n, and on the left I have 65534 times negative 1, and then I have to cut that in half. So I've got negative 65534 divided by 2. So I can put that in the calculator right now. 65534 and divided it by 2. 32767. 655, yeah. 32767. 327. So negative 32767. So I got to get this n alone. So I'm going to minus this 1 and minus this 1. So those are gone. So I thought those are both negative, so I can add them together, which will be negative 32768 equals negative 2 to the n. And I can divide here by negative 1 to get rid of that negative, because it's not in with the brackets. It's not in with the 2, it's just outside. So 32768 is equal to 2 to the n. And so now what we have to do is a guess and check. So 2 to the n equals 32768. And so I'm just trying to choose n. So we're guessing and checking this n. So 2 to the what? So in a calculator, you can start punching these things in, but like 2 to the 8, 256. Clearly not it. 2 to the power of 20. Okay, that's too big. 2 to the power of 18. So when we get to logarithms, doing logarithms, we're going to learn a way of doing this, but we haven't got there yet. Still too high. 2 to the 17. 2 to the 16. Oh, here we go. 15. Nope, that's 2 to the 1. There we go. 2 to the 15. There you have it. Okay, so 2 to the 15. So what is n? 2 to the n is that? Well, 2 to the 15. So n must be 15. So it's 15 terms. So it's not pretty. This is a guess and check method. We use the formula, we do some work here, and then we punch it to the calculator to see what our n has to be. In this case, it's 15. Okay, so we got one. Okay, so let's look here. Start by writing down everything we know. T1 is 2. Our R is -4 divided by the number in front, which is 2. So -4 divided by 2 is -2. N, the number of terms, we don't know. That's kind of the whole point. We're trying to find out the number of terms. And we know our Sn. It's written right above, -699050. Okay. So let's do the same thing here. Sn is equal to term 1 minus, or bracket 1 minus r to the n all over 1 minus r. And we can now find, we don't know what Sn is. Oh, we do know the number. It's 699. We just don't know which term number it is. Is equal to 2 bracket 1 minus, okay, this is interesting because this is going to be -2, so I need to put in brackets to the n all over 1 minus -2. Now I didn't put that -2 in brackets because there's no exponent. I only put it in brackets because I had an exponent. So I've got -69950 equals 2, 1 minus -2 to the n. On the bottom, I've got a 1 plus 2, which is a 3. So I'm going to times by 3 on both sides. That way that can go with that. But I'm also going to divide by the 2, put the 2 on the denominator, so that it cancels with the numerator. So, but then I don't know what that is. I have to go 699,050 times 3 over 2. So I'm going to do that in my calculator. -699,050 times it by the 3, but then divide it by the 2. -1048,575. -1048,575. -1048,575. Yep, and then I know this computer is pushing everything around here. 1 minus -2 to the n. So now I got to get rid of this 1. So how do you do that? It looks like it's kind of like there's a minus sign here, but really this is a positive 1. The symbol in front of it is actually a plus. So to get rid of this positive 1, we're going to subtract it from both sides. So I've got -1048,576. So they're both negative, so they joined together, but made it so negative. Negative bracket -2 to the n. Now I got to get rid of this negative that's out in front. So divided by -1, divided by -1. It can't get rid of the inside there, but it can get rid of the outside. So 1048,576 equals -2 to the n. Okay, so now we have to guess and check here. So I have a negative 2 to some exponent, and it's supposed to equal 1048576. So negative 2 in brackets to some exponent has to equal that. Okay, I'm going to try 17. Not nearly enough. So I'm going to retype it in and go up here. 21 maybe? Too big. It looks like it's almost double. 104, 209. So maybe it's one less. So negative 2 to the power of 20. And there you have it. Negative 2 to the 20 gets you a positive 1048576. So negative 2 to the 20 equals 1048576. So that's the n that I'm guessing here. That's the n. There it is. Therefore, n is equal to 20. So there you have it. Okay. So I'm just going to zoom out here, and you can copy this down however you want. And I think we still have some more questions, but we're almost done.